Hello and welcome to another episode of Thomas Reviews, and this time I'll be looking at another Masters of Cinema release, since I know you just can't get enough of them, and I will be looking at none other than Tokyo Sonata. When Ryuhei loses his company job, he keeps it a facade from his family, and it is threatened. Meanwhile, we look at the lives of his other family members, including his two sons and his wife. Now, I have been meaning to watch this film for quite some time, and I seen a review a few weeks ago, I think, of Luke over at Razor Wire Reviews, and he absolutely loved the film. And it was a Masters of Cinema release that I had on my list not long before that, and I thought that was the final encouragement, yeah, I'll go out and buy it. And this is the first film I've seen by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. There's another few released on Masters of Cinema, I believe. And what a great film to start with. Definitely a director's work here I look forward to exploring. Tokyo Sonata is a wonderful film, and its real focus is on family life, expectations, and just looking at this regular 9 to 5 life. Now, one thing from studying Japanese culture that I've learned is how Japan became to be one of the biggest economies in the world. Since even the 50s and the 60s, they have had a big economic uprise, and since even the 70s and 80s, there was this new idea of a Japanese way of life, and there was a lot of expectations put on people to, just go for the wage rather than the work. It was all about getting a good job in a business and having a family, and that was that. From the 70s and 80s, with car manufacturing and electronics, they became a massive economy, and Tokyo Sonata is kind of an exploration of a Japanese way of life and criticising what it means to be Japanese in a modern context. Now, what I love to see in films like this, you've got American Beauty, you've got Little Miss Sunshine, and Life is Sweet from Mike Leigh. If anyone's heard of Mike Leigh out there, please drop a comment. Because what they do is they dissect family life, and what's great about Tokyo Sonata is while it really does look at what it means to be Japanese in a modern context, it's also universal, because how different is this from what is explored in American Beauty, for instance? It's really tackling family roles and expectations, not only through your family, the role of the father or the role of the son, but also a larger societal picture of, having to go get a job at a successful company and all that sort of thing. And, the plight of Ryuhei here is very similar to Lester Burnham in American Beauty. Well, yes and no. I know you can argue that, but, it involves someone being in a job that they are put in almost systematically. Now, Ryuhei is a flawed character, and I think the film does an excellent balance of showing that human balance of good and bad, because he's not just one, he is both. He wants the best for his family, and this is a man who we've seen just lose his job that he's been doing for well over half his life. It's the only thing that he's been trained to do, and it's the only thing he can do. And we see his struggle of trying to adjust to another job, and he really does just want to do the best for his family. Then there are moments I disagree with his judgment and the way he acts, but you understand why, because he's lost his job, and now he's entered like a stage of insecurity, and his only way to really try to re-establish some sort of importance and control is, through his family. And we see that especially with his son, Kenji, when he wants to play piano. I'll not spoil anything, but you can see that he, in those moments, you don't like his judgment, you don't like the way he's treating his family, but it's not so much justified, but it is definitely explored and explained. Now, as I said, the film follows not only Ryuhei's story, but it looks at the wife and the two sons. And the performance given by Kai Inowaka as Kenji, the son, was just remarkable. I always love seeing young actors because they always surprise you. So many films you have these very, very young people acting, and sometimes they're just natural at it. And this is one of those cases, because this is a young boy, about 10 or 11 or so, and he's quite depressed. He doesn't really know what he wants to do, and there is this very hopeless look in his face throughout the film, and he just wants to find something that he enjoys doing, which ends up being piano. Then we have the wife, who we explore not only as a wife but a mother also, and her role in the household. Now, I find it interesting how we look at Ryuhei and then we look at the wife, and when we follow the wife's story, you know, she's almost went through her own little crisis. You know, things are changing for her emotionally. She wonders if she should stay with her husband, or she imagines what she could have done if she didn't get married. So it really explores soul searching in a way. Now, while I absolutely loved how the film kind of balanced between showing these different plot lines of the family, and then it all becomes interconnected, of course, because they're all family members, I felt like the plot lines for the mother and the elder son was a little weak, especially with the elder son. The elder son ends up wanting to join the army and everything, and I felt like that could have been much better explained. You know, it just felt very out of place in the film. And then, not to spoil anything for the mother's storyline, I felt like it wasn't quite right. Being very vague, but if you've seen the film, you know what I mean. Towards the end, I didn't feel like that was very believable at all. It wasn't a very believable situation. But regardless, I do think Tokyo Sonata is a very good watch, and it's a very poignant and slow experience. And it will remind you of the films of Yasujiro Ozu, because some of the camera work in this film, you know, we stay distant, and the camera can stay static as the action unfolds. And again, you know, it's looking at family. So Kurosawa, you know, has a lot of inspiration clearly from Ozu, which I love, because you see that also in Koreeda's work, another contemporary Japanese director. So yes, this is a pretty good release. You know, I thought it looked excellent. This is Spy number 3, so kind of one of the first ones. I don't know how their numbers really work. And for special features, it's good. I watched the making of, which was very interesting, looking at the actors' thoughts on the characters, and then the director's thoughts on what the film means. So that was well worth watching. And again, it's a dual release. You've got the DVD, special features of the DVD, and then I have the Blu-ray in my Blu-ray player at the moment. And the booklet's very nice too. It has a nice little essay on what the film represents. There's some nice images in here, of course, too. And I love these booklets. You know, I do like these booklets more than I like the Criterion ones. But yeah, overall, Tokyo Sonata is a very excellent film. While it has some of those flaws that I pointed out, I do feel like this is one that stays with you for a while after watching. So now I ask you for your thoughts. Did you like the film? Have you seen it? If not, definitely check this one out. My rating for this will have to be 8 out of 10. So thanks again, everybody, for stopping by the channel and looking at another review. And stay tuned, because the next upload that I do will be my feature-length documentary looking at film history and my experience with it. I'm very excited to put this up, 6 months in the making. And the sneak preview you can see on my channel, and also a trailer. So yeah, guys, thanks a lot, and hope you enjoyed the film, and I hope you enjoyed this review. See you next time.